Hey everyone, it's your boy Duckslayer555, and I'm finally back with a brand new video after a long hiatus. If you couldn't already tell by the title, I'm going to be talking about my Animanga 2020 experience, which I have to say was quite the journey. Anyway, I'm not really going based off of a script right now, so I'm just going to try and summarize everything, not really waste a lot of your time, and just get straight on with the video. Anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a screenshot with all the timestamps for the categories and pretty much every show I'm going to be talking about. It's going to contain everything. So, I mean, it's going to spoil what I've seen, but anyway, it won't spoil anything about the actual show. It's just going to be the name. I have so many, I had to legit do 2 picks. So, it's going to be basically 2 screenshots. They're going to be up on screen. I'm also going to comment on the video as soon as it comes out. I'm going to pin my own comment with all the timestamps there, so you can just click and go straight to the clip, which makes it easier. I mean, it's down to you. You can skip yourself or you can just use my comment, which will be easier. Pause if you need to, but apart from that, enjoy the video. So hey, to start the video, we're going to begin with mangas, because it was probably the most prominent medium in the whole year. And anyway, pretty much just to summarize, I'm going to be talking about how many I've read and just to summarize a bit my whole year experience. This year I read 8 mangas. Well, it means 7, but I am reading one right now and I'm about to finish it next week, so I'll come to this 8. Anyway, this was the main year I've read manga out of any other year. I mean, last year, to be honest, I did read a lot of go-to mangas, I can't lie. But hey, I didn't make a video, so that's unlucky. Anyways, though, this year I read 8, like I said. I mean, there are going to be only 2 mangas that I'm not going to be talking about, and they are Fire Punch and All You Need Is Kill. But yeah, All You Need Is Kill is basically 2 volumes. It's like a one-shot, that's why I'm not really going to talk about it. And Fire Punch, I mean, I barely read that 2 weeks ago. I haven't even finished it by the time I'm recording this. That's really the only reason. I'm going to be talking about everything else. So anyway, we're going to start off from the one I enjoyed the most in a way. And they're kind of going to be in an order. But this is definitely my number 1. So let's roll on to number 1. Vagabond is a philosophical, a graphic, and a storytelling masterpiece. So yeah, we're starting off with the best experience I've had in the whole year, Vagabond. I genuinely just can't express the love I have for this manga, man. As my first read of the year, honestly, Vagabond hasn't been top so far. The only other series I could compare it to is Berserk, which is literally my favorite manga. If that doesn't speak volumes as to how good Vagabond is, I don't know what will. But I'm just going to try to explain a bit of what Vagabond is and why it's so great. Anyway, a quick disclaimer, forgive my pronunciation of these names, I'm not Japanese. But anyway, in Vagabond, we follow our main protagonist, Miyamoto Musashi, the legendary swordman, known in history, which I mean, I to be honest didn't really know about him until I read Vagabond. But still, he is a very well known historical figure. And the story revolves around his journey on the way of the sword. In other words, the way of the samurai. Musashi is an aspiring young ronin and vagabond who aspires to make a name for himself. It may sound basic at first, but trust me, once you start reading it, you realize it's not just a journey about strength, which it is in a way, but it also focuses on other more complex themes, such as mental strength and conditioning, and one's true self. And in a way, that's what Vagabond is about. It's about finding your true self. And that's the general concept of Vagabond. I could get into more detail, but I don't really want to spoil it for you guys, because I recommend, honestly, everyone gives this a go. If you don't really like it by the first 3 volumes, I would honestly drop it, because that's an estimate of what Vagabond will be like. So anyway, let's get into some of the strong aspects of Vagabond. First of all, let's talk about the fights. The fights are honestly amazing, man. The adrenaline in each fight, the concept, and the mental battles is not just about physical battling in Vagabond. Mental strength plays a key role in battles, and it doesn't just focus in one mental element such as fear, but many such as sadness, admiration, and many more. Honestly, it's one of the main aspects of Vagabond. Another reason why fights are so great is because of the characters involved in them. The cast of Vagabond is one of the best I've ever seen. Musashi alone is extraordinary, but the fact that there are all the characters that can genuinely rival his status as a goated character, such as Kojiro, Takuan, and many more, honestly baffles me to how Inoue can honestly create so many good characters. Genuinely, a character may only appear for 1 arc, but he becomes such an intriguing character just because of the masterful grinding of Inoue. Just to put an example, I mean, Kojiro is one of the best characters in manga, and he can't speak. The man legit can't speak, and he's still one of the best characters. If that doesn't speak volumes as to how good Inoue can be with characters, I don't know what will. But honestly, it is one of, if not probably the main strongest aspect of Vagabond. But anyway, let's move on, I don't want to make this too long. Let's talk about the art style. Honestly, my second favorite artist, after Miura, and not by long. Like, they're both insane. I honestly can't really put one above the other with a lot of confidence. The beauty of his art style, I honestly think, comes from his way of drawing. Unlike many mangaka nowadays, he uses a very old-fashioned way of drawing and resembles many Japanese painters because of it. Honestly, I think it's one of the main features of his art style, which you can tell from a lot of spreads. But it's not just about the way he does it, but also his skill. He can just portray emotions with such realism. It is genuinely just amazing the detail this man can get on faces. Just look at the panel behind me. Unlike other mangas as well, the quality of Vagabond is just so consistent. Every chapter is so clean and beautiful. And the thing is, the art only gets better and better. Okay, there is a bit of a drop on the last arc, but I genuinely think it's one of the best art styles ever, and it genuinely portrays the emotions of that arc beautifully. And the thing is, it's like God bless Inoue with everything. He has the art and the grinding skills, man. Both match each other, like, both are genuinely extraordinary. And I just don't see how you can't say Vagabond is a masterpiece, man. It is probably one of the best pieces of media I've ever experienced, and it probably always will be. The only real issue is the hiatuses. He hasn't posted a chapter in over 5 years, but Inoue has stated before that he is burnt out on the series, but it is because he doesn't want to ruin the story. He has put out over 300 chapters, which in my opinion is more than enough. If he never ends it, Vagabond will still be a masterpiece. Obviously I do want it to end, but I am happy either way. He's given out enough quality in his life, not just in Vagabond, but with 2 other amazing works. Like, this mangaka is so goated. But to end it, I just want to tell everyone, go read Vagabond. There is nothing to lose from giving it a go, but there is a lot to gain. And I just wanted to thank Inoue for putting out such a masterpiece of a series, and honestly making my year so much better. The second manga I'm going to be talking about is Real. Once again, another work by the GOAT Takahiko Inoue. Like I said, he has worked in multiple manga, and this is just another one of his masterpieces. Honestly, some people prefer this to Vagabond. I generally, personally prefer Vagabond to this, but both of them are masterpieces, and some of the characters in Real are much better than some of the characters in Vagabond, but all around, all of them are amazing. And this is just another completely different piece of work that honestly has some similar things, but also some different things, but both are great at what they focus on. Real follows 3 main characters, Nomiya, Takahashi, and Togawa. All of them amazing characters, I have to say, especially Vince, the GOAT. Of course, they all play a main part in the story, and one way or another, they all link together. It is technically a basketball manga, but the main theme of the story is not so much basketball and more about life and growth as a person. Like, all 3 of the characters just want to grow from what they are. They all inadvertently want to change as a person, and it's honestly just beautiful seeing them get to that stage, because although it is ironic, Real is very real. The way people change honestly just feels so natural. The things that happens to them feel so real, and honestly, like, I could very well imagine these people in real life. Another factor that for me plays a key role in the likeness of the characters is the age group. Like, all 3 main characters are around the same age as me, and some of the struggles they go through, like, they are very relatable. And honestly, this helps build them up as real characters and flesh them out. It honestly makes the story much better, and is one of the main strengths of Real, building strong characters that you can honestly empathize with. It does this through the story that is very fluent and progressive. Like, major character events are presented in, like, for example, a basketball match or a flashback, which have so much feeling behind them because they're very well crafted and built up on. And the thing is, 2 of the main characters are disabled or become disabled. We do see who they are before their disability and how the disability changes their life completely. And it honestly just feels very real. Even though I don't really have a disability, I can genuinely see real people suffer through these mental struggles. But anyway, enough of me talking why Real is so real. Let's talk about the art style, which we can't obviously avoid when we're talking about Inoue. Like I said in Vagabond, this guy can genuinely, I don't know, he can craft something I've never seen in my life. This guy basically makes paintings. I do think the art of Real is a bit weaker than Vagabond, because I mean, I think Vagabond is the peak of Inoue. But still, in my opinion, the color pages of Real are much better, and the overall art style still does the job very excessively compared to other mangas. Like, look at the panel behind me, it's honestly one of my favorite panels in all of manga. The flashback of the GOAT, the best MC Vince, aka Togawa, as he legit finds he's not alone in the world, and finds there are other people with his disability, genuinely honestly made me feel emotions that not many mangas can honestly do to you, and one of the main reasons why I like Real is genuinely just this character alone. Another strength behind Real is the fact that it's only 90 chapters, man. Like, you could read this in a few hours. Vagabond is 300, but it still does so much in these 90 chapters. And not even that, by chapter 60, you get one of the best moments in all of manga. It manages to craft a big-ass story, a very good one in such a short amount of time. It's genuinely very impressive. But look, you may honestly enjoy Real more than Vagabond. It is more relatable than Vagabond, shorter, and that's things that Vagabond just doesn't. I mean, the main issue with Vagabond hiatus is not an issue for Real, which came back just 2 years ago, man, after a 2-3 year hiatus. And then it's getting very frequent chapters, it's getting more chapters than Berserk, which is kind of mad because this guy hasn't posted a chapter in so long. And honestly, I'm happy for it. But yeah, to summarize, Real has some of the most relatable characters in manga, one of the most natural stories, and honestly, you should also give it a go. It's only 90 chapters, and it is still ongoing. So a reminder for everyone, read Real. Better do it next year or this year, because trust me, you'll enjoy it a lot, and you won't regret it. Next, I'm going to be talking about Holy Land. And instantly a reminder, read Holy Land. Read it. Look, Holy Land was one of the first reads of the year as well. And honestly, one I will never forget. It is a very unique manga. I've never seen anything like it. I know there are a lot of mangas about street fighting, and to be honest, I haven't really read a lot, but I can kind of see from the panels I've been seeing, Holy Land is unmatched. Not in terms of quality, because there are mangas about fighting that are better, but in terms of just originality, bro, Holy Land is just so unique. The art is very unique. The elements featured in Holy Land are very unique. Honestly, it was a very unique read, and that is honestly probably the main aspect about Holy Land, how unique and good it is. Anyway, I don't want to waffle, but look, Holy Land is a manga about street fighting. Just by that, already a uniqueness. The main character is a guy who constantly got bullied in school. He was weak and didn't really have a purpose in life. Honestly, even went to suicide a lot of the time and was thinking about doing it. Until one day he just stumbles in the street and gets into a street fight. The adrenaline he felt and the feeling he felt on the street fight changed his life. He instantly fell in love, and from there he began going into the streets. The streets is the main location of the whole show, but by the end of the manga they become a location that you genuinely can kind of love. And it is very well the Holy Land of the manga. I mean, the title doesn't really have to do anything with the contents of the manga, because there's not really any holy element. Apart from a few references here and there, but not really anything major. Still, look, Yu Kamishiro, that's the name of the main character, is an underdog who always went as the underdog in the street fights. And we basically see his journey through the streets and how he becomes a threat to major gangs who honestly threaten him. And how people get along with him, how he makes bonds for the first time in his life. Because he's never really had a friend until he did this, because he's finally good at it. He did realize he wasn't really that weak, and I mean, there are a few plot holes here and there, but okay, the main content of the manga is the fights and the characters. Because look, the story itself is a bit generic, as in there's one match, then there's another one, then there's another one. Although it doesn't really follow that pattern all the time, and I mean, it does have a bit of uniqueness. Most of his plot devices are a bit generic and obviously simple. However, that doesn't make the characters from standing out as the greatness they are. For example, that's the rival character in Shogo, in my opinion, in one of the best ways ever. He is an insane rival, if you ask me. He has a downfall, he has a rise, and I've honestly made a whole post on him already. Obviously, Isawa and Yu, the two main characters of the show and the two main goats, they're both insane characters. One because of the flashback, and two because of the development they have. And honestly, the story also just goes into finding your true self. Much like Real, but in a very different way. They find themselves in the streets, in the Holy Land of each character. And Yu honestly finds a place for himself. So does Isawa, and so does so many other characters. The streets have a vibe to them, and the whole Holy Land manga is a vibe which is kind of never seen before in manga. And I genuinely really love it. It's one of my favorite vibes in the whole of manga. And I genuinely just love the vibes of Holy Land, the uniqueness it has in this medium. It also very hidden gem find, as in it's the most hidden manga I've ever read, without a doubt. And for that, I do have to thank Toshi, who legit made me and got me into this. I'm genuinely now a huge fan of it. And guess what? One of the main aspects of Holy Land is that the bloody manga has ended. And I can't lie, the ending is very good. So if you want to finish manga for once, unlike Berserk, Vagabond, Real, all these masterpieces that never end, Holy Land is your manga. It's a read you will love, not only for the characters, but also just for street fights. You genuinely can learn techniques that could honestly save your life, Like in a street fight, some of these techniques are very useful. I mean, the mangaka can clearly show he knows what he's talking about, and he himself said he's gone to watch many fight and art styles. Like you get judo, you get karate, you get boxing, you get just normal fighting, you get knives. You honestly get anything in a street fight. You can use the walls, you can use the landscapes. The fights are honestly the best aspect of the manga other than the characters. But look, I don't want to waffle too much. The art is not the best, but it genuinely improves a lot and it is not bad. I honestly really liked it. But yeah, if you want a very unique manga, and if you like street fights, or just genuinely like real themes that you can relate to, and you want a manga that has actually ended, and a hidden gem, well, this is your series. All I can say is, read Holy Land. It deserves many more fans, and it is a great experience. The next manga I'm going to be talking about is Blame, the world building phenomenon. Anyway, the fourth manga I'm going to be talking about is my most recent read, Blame. Honestly, I heard about this recently, and just the concept alone really intrigued me, and instantly I knew I would fall in love with this series. When I found out this manga was only 66 chapters and it has ended, I was like, wow, I have to read this now. I wasn't planning on reading anything, but anyway, I ended up picking it up, and trust me, I do not regret it. If you know about the manga already, I'm pretty sure you're familiar with this expression, but Blame is a story that shows rather than tells. For example, there are chapters where nothing is said in the whole chapter, and it's just Nihei showing us his beautiful art and narrative skills, where we just see Kili going about his journey. And anyway, let's talk a bit more about the concept in case you have never heard of him. Anyway, Blame is set in a very, very distant future where basically technology is taken over. Like, there are robots that build everything, and basically every living thing is a robot. Humans are basically robots, and finding real organic humans is kind of rare in Blame. And basically these robots that keep building the world just kept on building and building and building. So our main character, Kili, is a guy who sets out to find a net terminal gene. The net terminal gene is basically the control remote for the entire world universe. With a net terminal gene, every living thing would obey you. Every program and every entity, every software, every robot would obey you. But of course, finding this gene nowadays is very rare because practically all humans are extinct. And if they're alive, they're basically turned into robots. And so when you're a robot, you don't die and you don't really need to worry about food. So time in here just goes way differently. For example, there is an elevator ride that takes Kili 50 years to complete. And it just passes like nothing. They're just used to it because time in this world flows differently because they're robots. They have an infinite existence. And so basically the whole story just revolves around Kili going through his journey across the world. That is why the world is probably, well, not even probably, it is the best aspect of Flame. The world building is honestly insane. One, because of the art style that is honestly crazy, how Nihei can draw structures with such accurate detail and imagination. I've never seen anything like it. In my opinion, Nihei is the best artist in terms of structure. Another reason why the world building is so good is because of the narrative. Like I said before, the narrative is show and not tell. So most of the time we are left to speculate what has happened. And so there are many theories that you can actually have and many different thoughts. And everyone can get a unique experience and their own thoughts on the story. That is the real beauty of Blame. The imaginative power that it brings out. So for example, I could have a completely different theory to the ending of Blame and you could have a different theory. No one really knows how it actually ends or anything fully because it's just left to speculation. Nihei never confirms and he never makes anything else. But that is actually the beauty and just like the uniqueness and attraction of Blame. It is PewDiePie's favourite manga if I can point out, and I think it is a very well pick. But yeah, the narrative just helps enhance the world in the quiet and just horrific reality that it is. Like, you can go walking for years upon years, like, I mean, probably the whole story takes place over thousands of years because Kili just takes ages to walk around the whole world and just transport himself, and like, by the end of the story, we get to find out, like, the whole world is around the universe, or, like, not really universe, but solar system size. One room itself is as big as Jupiter, and, I mean, there are millions of rooms, probably. It could just be universe size. No one knows. Like, the world is probably infinite at this point. And, like, honestly, yeah, it's just, the world building is insane in Blame. I can't really speak about it, because I just don't understand it fully. But, yeah, look, to conclude, Blame is a very short manga, but a manga you probably won't forget. In my opinion, it has some of the best aspects in all of manga. For example, the world. I mean, it is my favorite Animanga. The art style is one of the best, could even become your favorite. And just the overall stories, it's just really innovative. Nothing has ever been made like it in terms of cyber. and futuristic manga. Like, this overpasses Sakura and honestly anything I've read in terms of futuristic mangas, and a lot of mangas in terms of world building. I mean, nothing has come close to it. I don't think anything probably will until around probably One Piece or some manga like that, because trust me, the world building in Blame is insane. But yeah, Blameless Fight, it has a story that comes to an end, and honestly it's an ending I'm pretty happy and has grown on me by the time I've read it. I couldn't understand it fully at first, but after a bit I've come to understand it more and more. Don't expect the amazing self characters, but expect an amazing story and world. And yeah, I just wanted to thank Nihei for making such a cool and amazing work. Definitely one of the best reads of 2020. So yeah, reminder, go read Blame, man. It's only 66 chapters, even less than real. Now let's talk about a manga that takes place on a tournament, with the fights being gods against humans. But yeah, if you know, you know. But we're going to be talking about Record of Ragnarok. One of, if not the best new gen manga out right now. With only around 35 chapters, you really have no excuse why you haven't read this. It basically does what many manga can't accomplish in like 100 chapters. And like I said, it's a tournament that has gods against humans. And quite frankly, the concept is very good in my opinion. We basically go to Valhalla or something like that, I don't remember where it was, but basically where all the gods gather, and they all decide they want to kill all humans and exterminate them. But then one Valkyrie, which in Greek mythology is a supporter of humans, challenges them to give humans a go, and if they win in a tournament, they get to stay alive another 1,000 years. And so that's what the gods decide to do. And I mean, honestly, it is a very cool concept. Like, I've never heard of something like this. It sounds insane, but it is very good. And so of course, it's a tournament manga that like will probably end after the tournament is over. The main aspect of this manga are the fights, and like I didn't expect the fights to be just so good. They're just so raw and good, man. They're just amazing, unique and raw fights. Like, it feels very refreshing reading this manga, man, because you don't see these fights every now and then, and it just feels very nostalgic in a way. But yeah, the art is honestly amazing. Like, some fights have 10 out of 10 art. This is another great artist, and honestly, someone I've never heard of. I'm pretty sure he's a new and up-and-coming artist, and this is one of his first works. But he is an excellent drawer. He makes every fight just become alive. Without him, the manga would be nothing. But with him, it is such a great piece of manga. And yeah, another really good aspect of the manga is just the fighters it chooses. Like, it doesn't just choose a random human, but like historical figures that have had huge influence. The most well-known human in the human team so far is, actually not even so far because all the names got revealed, Jack the Ripper. I mean, just alone, like, Jack the Ripper versus gods, like, who wouldn't want to see this, man? It honestly was such a good fight. Like, thankfully we've got to see it already, and I'm not disappointed. But also the gods are really good. Like, it picks Thor, Poseidon, and other like well-known gods from different cultures, man. And it just depicts each person and characterizes them with such just creativity. Like, Kojiro is one of the best humans. Actually, no, he is my favorite human on the manga. But like, bro, the insane thing is, like, the manga can make honestly really compelling characters in around just 10 chapters, man. They barely get a lot of build-up, and the fights obviously have to end. They can't just be dragged along. So like, managing to build characters and keep the fight going like this, you have to like have some experience or just talent. Because I've never heard of this mangaka before, but you can tell he's practiced before, because like, this piece is really good. His narrative skills are really good, his arting skills is really good, and overall, the whole story has just been really solid so far. But yeah, look, if you want a really good, refreshing fighting manga with like a really good concept, this is definitely your manga. It is very short, but it has some of the best fights in arguably manga for sure. And honestly, I can't wait for this to get an anime, although it probably won't be a good adaptation because the manga art is insane. I honestly really think this manga has a future ahead of itself. So yeah, pick this manga up, man. Now there's only 35 chapters. Each fight is amazing. I mean, I haven't really kept on with a new one because I want to read it after it ends. But like, at least the first 3 fights, or 4, however long it was, have been amazing, all of them. But yeah, Record of Ragnarok was not really my first read or last. It was around the middle. It was a very quick read, obviously I had in between works, and I very highly enjoyed it. I highly recommend it. It's a fun and entertaining read, very similar to around One Punch Man enjoyability. So yeah, go give Record of Ragnarok a read. It is amazing. Chainsaw Man. How can I end my manga experience from this year without mentioning Chainsaw Man? As the best, probably new popular, new gen, honestly, Chainsaw Man is a very random and just very strange manga, if I have to say. It does have a lot of questionable things, and it does a lot of things that I've never seen before, and I don't think I'll ever see, because, wow, I have to say. And this is a Shonen Jump series. That's the only thing I have to point out. Like, some of the things they show, I do not understand how Shonen actually show this. Like, holy. But anyway, it kind of just gives me hope for the future that, like, we can have more series to have more explicit scenes, and it just gives me hope for the future that people can actually now read these sort of series with these graphic encounters. But yeah, look, I don't really know how to summarize the concept of Chainsaw Man. Basically, our main character, Denji, is a kid who basically kills demons for money. Like, in this world, there exist demons, and if you kill them, you get money. And basically, Denji has a massive debt, which he will probably never pay off because of his dad. His dad made him a huge debt, which he will have to pay off because I think his dad suicided or something. But basically, he's been working his whole life. He's sold, like, his left eye, his left arm, or not left arm, his just eye, his gut, just for money, just to repay his debt. He barely gets to eat, and I mean, he's friends with this little demon he found in one of his expeditions. We basically follow him as he basically tries to pay off his debt, until one day the bitches he has to pay off the debt to decide to get rid of him. And as he's legit, they cut off his body, everything, he's just in pieces in the garbage bin. His little demon friend, Pochita, basically the goddess character in the show, decides to merge with him, and he turns Denji into a demon combined with him. He does give Denji a few conditions, but the main one is that Denji lives his life to his liking. So I mean, if Denji decides to live for someone else, or like not because he decides it, he will die. But basically, he becomes the Chainsaw Devil, which I mean, it's a very random devil, but it honestly is very cool. One of the strong aspects of Chainsaw Man is the designs. Like, it has some of the best character designs in all of Animanga. Denji is my 8th favorite character design in Animanga, just to say. His demon form is so sick, man. Like, legit, the chainsaw in his head, it's just fire, man. Like, just by the designs alone, you should read this manga. But yeah, Chainsaw Man has been just honestly putting out insane numbers in terms of sales without an anime, although an anime has been announced in 2021, which I'm pretty hyped for if you ask me. Basically, Chainsaw Man is just a very, like I said, random and a strange manga. It's taken a story turn which is very strange, and honestly, it is very unique and, like, honestly just entertaining. I have, like, dropped it for a bit. I'm gonna wait until it ends because it is already nearing its ending, because I mean, the mangaka honestly has a very weird story, and he's already done a lot in the around 90 chapters that have come out. I think it's a bit more than that now, but like, it will end, I guess, in around like 140 or something. So it's a short series, but it does a lot, and it's a very unique Shonen Jump. Just because it is a Shonen manga and not a seinen somehow, it does deserve a read for what the mangaka managed to put out in the Shonen magazine. Have to respect him for that, I can't lie. But yeah, Chainsaw Man has some awesome fights and some awesome art style when it wants to. It has a very, again, raw art style that feels a bit like unpolished, but it gives it a really cool vibe, and I do like the art, especially when the devils come out, man. All the devils look so sick, legit. And honestly, Chainsaw Man is just a very weird read, but I think as one of the first manga everyone reads, it's a very good manga, I think, as an introduction to seinen, because it is very similar. And just a very good manga to enjoy, because it is very random and new and refreshing. So yeah, go read Chainsaw Man. And yeah, finally, that was my 2020 manga experience. Hope you enjoyed it, and let's move on to the anime now. So yeah, this year was kind of disappointing in a way, because I mean, I only watched 9 new anime. And I mean, okay, I'm not really counting movies, which I did watch quite a few, but yeah, I mean, you can't really count that. But it's still, like, 9 animes with lockdown, like, yeah, I kind of do regret not watching / reading One Piece, but hey, it is what it is, we move. Still watched a few animes. I mean, I don't really remember what I was honestly doing in lockdown. I could have done a lot, but hey, I still really enjoyed the shows I ended up watching. But hey, this time I'm not going to be talking about 3 shows. They are No Game No Life, Deadman Wonderland, and Terror in Resonance. The first 2 mainly because I already talked about in my last video, like the short anime video. So I mean, I don't really want to talk about them because it will just extend the video. And Terror in Resonance was just an 11-episode anime on Netflix, which is pretty intriguing because there are mixed thoughts about it, but I personally have the negative end of them. and I kind of don't really want to waste time on it and just move on and talk about other things. So I hope you understand. If you really want to hear my thoughts on No Game No Life and Deadman Wonderland, watch my short anime video. But I mean, I did hear that Deadman Wonderland manga is much better, so one day I'll have to read it. And I mean, No Game No Life is just a good anime, just enjoyable, bro. The movie was better than the bloody anime, but guess what, I will be talking about the movie, so be hyped for that. But yeah, no more waffling. If you're actually hearing this, let's just move on to the anime. So yeah, first anime, go. To begin the anime experience, we're going to be talking about an anime that focuses on the time traveling paradox. Or in other words, we're going to be talking about yes, we're going to talk about Steins. It was the best anime experience I've had all year, but to be honest, I haven't really seen as many anime as I normally have, so I can't really comment. And look, I do agree with the score it has in Mao. I do think it very well deserves the 9.12 it has, but I don't think it deserves the number 2 spot as the second best anime ever. I mean, I do love Steins though, to be honest. I'm just going to talk about why I loved it so much. I mean, I did just randomly decide to watch the first episode, but after the first episode I kind of got hooked. So yeah, I basically finished the whole show in 2 days, including the special. But a disclaimer, I haven't watched Steins Zero or whatever this prequel is. I don't know, it just didn't really appeal to me, although I have heard good things. I will definitely check it out in the future though, because I mean, Steins was amazing. But I mean, some people say like the first half is bad, and I'm not saying it's like better than the second half, but like, bruh, there's so much things being built up. I mean, look, Steins starts as a slice of life anime. It starts with very light themes, just talking about time traveling as Okabe discovers it. And I mean, at first they just test out the time traveling, they see what they can do, the limitations and the rules that are being applied in the time and space zone. But shortly around episode 12, it just hits a turning point where the whole show changes for a much darker tone. Especially after this scene, which I mean, I genuinely loved. It is one of my favorite scenes in the whole show, and you have to just see a bit of it.
I assume. Oh my God. Mayuri! Mayuri! Mayuri!
And yeah, for me, that was the scene that was like symbolizing something was gonna happen, man. Although there is a more prominent scene that just kind of signifies the change of the show, which I also is probably, yeah, more impactful than this scene, but like this was like the start of the scenes. Basically, Steins takes a turn for the darker tone, and it quickly becomes more a human psyche anime paired up with the time travel paradox. But it quickly becomes a more psychological anime, which honestly I think the beauty of the anime comes from it. But let's actually talk about more of the aspects. The best aspects of the show is the cast and the story itself, like the narrative. It has probably one of the best narratives, at least in certain aspects. And I mean, the main character is like my third favorite main character in all of Animanga. Okabe is an insane character, bro. I mean, some of the cast is really good as well, but some of the other cast is a bit weak, which is like a double-edged sword, because it could really use a few more characters. But the overall cast is definitely not weak, and it has 2 characters which are really good. But yeah, look, I can't really summarize the story because it is like just very vast and like kind of a lot to sum up. It's only 24 episodes, but it does a lot in that 24 episodes, and in my opinion, that's one of my favorite endings ever. Like, the ending just fits the anime so well, man. And obviously the main character is one of the best characters in all of anime and manga. Okabe is just insane. He basically breaks down the capabilities of humans. I don't really want to spoil in terms of what, but trust me, watch Steins. It becomes a really good psychological manga with just a really good concept and story. Definitely worth a watch, man. And my favorite anime of this year. And number 2 we have yes, I'm going to be talking about Monster, and wow, all I can say right now is Johan. No, but on the real, Monster is a great anime. The best aspect of Monster is obviously the writing. Monster is more a writing anime, not so much fights. I see it is a more mystery anime and more less realistic anime. But yeah, Monster focuses around a serial killer who's on spree as we follow our main protagonist, Dr. Tenma, as he chases him. Why does Dr. Tenma chase him? Because the serial killer turns out to be one of the patients Dr. Tenma chose to save. And so he feels at sin and at fault for all the people that are dying to the serial killer. And so yeah, we go on this journey as he tries to stop the serial killer, and we discover more about his history, the whole history of the cast, the whole history of the villain. And although it is a wild concept, it is very, very realistic and something I could actually see have happened. It is set in Germany and Czech Republic not too long after World War II. The setting honestly allows for just the violence and the insanity of what some people actually do to actually be realistic. And honestly, I wouldn't even be surprised if some of these things actually took place. I'm pretty sure they did, because the mangaka did some research about these locations at these times when he was making the story. And honestly, the best aspect of Monster has to be Johan. In my opinion, my second favorite villain ever. Like, Johan is just a masterful character. His writing is insanity. His philosophy is just amazing. And even his ending is practically just perfect. He was basically the engine of the story. Without him, the story wouldn't have taken place. He basically made every character move and like just genuinely react. He basically does what villains should do, make every character react to him. And of course, he's the pillar of the show, and he is the best aspect of the show. Urasawa was very well known for his villains, and I'm pretty sure Johan is his favorite villain across all his fans and works. And I'm not surprised why, because it is one of my favorite characters in media, not just in manga and this. And it is my second favorite villain, only behind Griffith, and not even by much. Both of them are insane, and both of them are just great villains, man. Like, honestly, Johan makes Monster just so much more amazing. But yeah, other than Johan, the narrative is like really strong. I mean, it makes Johan amazing because of the narrative. He is one of the main reasons. The whole story and narrative is very, very good. I mean, in the anime, at times it is a bit slow, but honestly, I put up with it pretty well, and I really enjoyed the pace. And other than that, the side cast isn't even weak. It has a lot of strong side characters. Nina, Grimmer, and just many more. And honestly, they develop a lot throughout the story with amazing writing. Not on par with Johan, but of course, I mean, Johan is kind of a character you can't really compare anyone to. Even Tenma, the main character, is really good as well. He fits very well with Johan, and it's a very likable character. Honestly, I don't really have a complaint with Monster. It has a really good ending, which at first I didn't really understand, but after really looking at it, it is a great ending. The only real issue is just a few plot holes here and there. Like, for example, every door in the bloody story is just open, so anyone can just walk in the house. Just kind of unrealistic. There are a few like plot holes like that, and there are a few unnecessary characters, which I think like are kind of filler characters in the anime. Other than that, like I said, sometimes the story was a bit slow. For example, there are a few instances where a few things should have gone differently, in my opinion. But nonetheless, when it's good at its peak, it is a beautiful story and just a masterful story. I highly recommend reading or just honestly watching Monster if you just want a more mystery and dark sort of series with very well written cast and just story. So yeah, it's a very good story, and I highly recommend it to everyone. For the next anime, all I have to say is the vibes, the vibes, the vibes. And yeah, next we're going to talk about Samurai Champloo. A very vibe-heavy anime, if you can't already tell by what I said at the start. This was really just an enjoyable watch. And once again, I just decided to watch one episode on Netflix and then just go into it. Basically finished in like 2-3 days. Just like the rest. The thing with this anime is it's very easy to watch. It's just like, you know, when you just turn on the TV and you just see a cartoon, one of your childhood cartoons, you just want to watch it. Or a random show, it's just easy to watch. You could just turn it on and just put it on and just watch it whenever, man. When you're feeling down, when you're feeling happy, whenever. That's the sort of anime this is. It's like a really just fun watch. So yeah, don't really go in expecting every episode to just be a masterpiece in terms of just progression. This is more like type of anime journey. You know, it's in like Pokemon where we had like a few episodes that divide the story and then the rest is just about the journey. That's what this is. It's not really about the start or the end, although both are kind of solid, you know. But the journey is pretty fun. So yeah, let's talk a bit more about the concept. Samurai Champloo is set in the samurai era, and we follow two samurais and a girl who brings them together in the journey to find the Sunflower Samurai, who in other words, more gets revealed as the story goes on and on. But basically, these two samurais are Mugen and Jin, and then the girl's called Fu. Mugen and Jin are very skilled samurai, and honestly, they're very different and just opposite each other. So pairing them up was kind of a task, but Fu managed to do it after a few events on the first episode. And then from there, they go on a journey together just to find the Sunflower Samurai. So yeah, I don't really want to just spoil the end, because it honestly was a very good end. The last episode was really, really good. I mean, I think it should have ended a bit differently, and it would have been much better, but still, I was happy with the ending. For a 26 episode anime, it was a very good experience if you ask me. I enjoyed it a lot. And so yeah, let's talk a bit more about the journey. Each episode is like a mini story on its own. So like, you could just tune in an episode, like I said before, and you could just get a good experience without really having watched much. You pretty much just need to watch the first around 2-3 episodes, and you can just watch any other episode for a certain amount. So like, a lot of it, you can just put one on out of nowhere and just enjoy the show. And that's why this show is just easy to watch, man, because it's very bingeable and it's very just consumable. It is very easy to watch and is one of the main aspects of why people like this show, and I honestly really liked it too. Another pretty good aspect is the main characters. Both Mugen and Jin are really likable. I personally prefer Yin, but like, a lot of people prefer Mugen. Mugen is more like the Joseph Joestar from JoJo's, as in like, he has a lot of personality and he's really cunning and cocky. And Yin is more of the quiet type, but like, his character gets developed through the story, and I'm just more of a fan of him. And honestly, like, the story overall, there are a few episodic story episodes that I'm not really a fan of, but most of them are just really enjoyable and easy to watch. It's not a heavy story show, although it does have a few episodes that are really good for the story. And obviously the ending was really good, apart from like, kind of the route it took with its characters, but I still really liked it overall. Samurai Champloo is a really fun watch. It has great animation for a lot of times, and just an overall really good vibe, which is another main aspect of the show, man. The vibes are just so good. Like, you can instantly recognize Samurai Champloo from his vibes. It also has one of the best tracks in all of anime. It has a bloody OST hip-hop track, and honestly, it was amazing. There are certain tracks on there I legit listen to this day, like, a lot of the time. They're legit straight bangers. So yeah, I recommend Samurai Champloo if you're just looking to have a really enjoyable watch. If you want a solid fights, solid story progression, and just solid comedy as well. It has all of that, and just a bit more than that. Some of you might enjoy more, some of you might enjoy less. It's just a fun watch you can just watch whenever. So yeah, go watch Samurai Champloo. So yeah, the next anime I'm going to be talking about is Parasyte. One I again watched recently. I mean, I just saw it in Netflix and I was like, let me watch an episode. And I kind of just go into binge the whole show in a few days, just like Steins. And I still really enjoyed this show too, so let's talk a bit about it. I honestly think this is a really just very perfect and all-rounded introduction to a seinen, if you ask me. If you want to start getting into the seinen genre, I would watch Parasyte. It has a bit of the main themes of seinen, and although it doesn't do them perfectly, it is still a very enjoyable watch, and I think it's a perfect introduction to the genre, if you ask me. It is pretty similar to Tokyo Ghoul when you think about it. I mean, there are basically these parasites that take over humans and they kill other humans. They're disguised as humans in society, basically just ghouls. Although I do think ghouls are superior, but like still, doesn't change the fact. Parasites are a bit unique, they're basically just aliens. And our main protagonist, Shinichi, basically gets infected by one. However, he manages to control it, and then the parasite only takes over his right hand. And from there, the parasite must just live with him in order to live. Because the main aim of these parasites is just to live and keep living further. So instead of just killing himself, he decides to live with Shinichi, and they both live together. And so yeah, the main theme of this show is humanity, and how Shinichi slowly but surely loses it. And honestly, just how to regain and just what humanity is. That's the really, and it's also just the best aspect of the show, like the showcase of humanity compared to these aliens that have no feelings, or just basically they have no goal other than just to live further. And yeah, this is best shown in Shinichi as he descends down a route where he becomes less and less a human as he merges more with Migi, which is the alien that infects him, as he gives him a name. It honestly is a very beautiful anime when you look at it, because like, just seeing Shinichi lose his humanity slowly, and then spoilers, so watch out, regain it again by the end of the show. The way just the feelings come forth in the aliens and Shinichi itself is very well done. It is the best part of the show, in my opinion at least. So what can you expect from this show? You can expect an overall solid story, good animation and budget, good fights, and just a very good MC and decent concept, you know. It is like a B-Tech Tokyo Ghoul, but still it doesn't fail to make itself present. And honestly, it has inspired a lot. I'm pretty sure it might have been made before Tokyo Ghoul, but at the same time I ain't sure. I think it was though, and The manga honestly looks really good as well. I will have to give it a read one day because it might be better than the anime. But yeah, it does have a few issues which are kind of very apparent, so let's just quickly talk about them. Firstly, the main issue is the sidecast. Like, other than like a few little characters, the sidecast is almost non-existent. Like, there isn't really any sidecast. The few characters that are like relevant across the whole story are just pretty bad and bland, if you ask me. Especially just, I forgot her name by now because she's kind of irrelevant. Shinichi's whatever wife, girlfriend. Bro, like, she is one of the worst female characters, honestly. It's just the definition of anime characters in anime. And look, the main concept of the Parasyte is that they have no feelings or goals. So most of the antagonists are pretty bland, of course. And I'm not complaining a lot because it adds to the vibes of the show and just like the overall concept of it. And there are actually a few good antagonists. So the antagonist isn't really a big issue, but like, don't go in expecting an antagonist like Meruem in this show because you just won't find it. Like I said, what you will find is a very well rounded up show in a way. And honestly, a very good introduction to seinen. If you're trying to get into more dark theme animes and manga, this is your anime to start with. I highly recommend it to start the seinen genre. That was my 2020 anime experience. But hey, I'm gonna go over the seasonals next. So like the seasonal animes I watched, 13 episode seasons. After that, I'm gonna talk about the movies and specials. So anyway, be on for that. Roll the seasonals. So to start off the seasonals this year, I watched Tower of God, the first webtoon seasonal. Obviously I have to pay respects for the webtoons, which is a medium I also go into this year. And look, it wasn't the worst of starts, it definitely wasn't the best. It was a 12 episode season which just built it up for the future. It didn't really just showcase enough for me to actually enjoy it a lot. So I gave it kind of a low 7, as it just showed a lot of characters and it just showed a lot of potential, but it didn't build up on it and it just hinted at things for next season. The ending was pretty sick, and overall the narrative has really no big flaws or anything wrong with it. The cast so far feels okay, and I think that can improve a lot, and I've heard the like webtoon or whatever gets a lot better. So I'm just hyped to see season 2 and just hyped to see where the show goes. The production budget was really good, and it just showed what webtoons are going to be like. Honestly, I'm just hyped to see Solo Leveling animated by Ufotable. That's what I want. And honestly, I mean, it's just a 12 episode show. Watch it just to like get a gist of what webtoons are like. Although you can't really base it off of this because it's just not really a lot of it. Overall, a mid watch. Not bad, not good. I'll watch season 2 though. Next is God of Highschool, another webtoon anime. And I mean, what can I say? I'm going to be watching all of them. Noveless is next after the season ends. But hey, what can I say? The story, honestly, on this anime, if you haven't already heard, got very squished into 13 episodes. The seasons should be much longer. And that's really the main flaw. The story and narrative goes down the drain for a lot of it. The production budget was insane. I mean, the animation was amazing. All the fights were insane. The soundtrack was amazing as well. The opening was a banger. Like, if you want to just watch it for the, like, just honestly the medium of anime, just to see animation and just fights and dope fights. That's basically the only reason I watched it, because I heard the story was bad and I'm like, it has really good fights, so let me just watch it. I haven't seen good fights in a while in anime. And yeah, it delivered. It did what I was expecting it to, and honestly I kind of enjoyed it more than Tower of God, just because it was like more fun to watch fights. Sadly, yeah, the story couldn't match that at all, although I'm pretty sure in the webtoon it probably does. It's just the season was too rushed, man. It showcases the skills of Mappa, and I'm kind of hyped to see AOT and even the next season of this. The next season I'm going to be talking about, and the most recent one, is Jujutsu Kaisen. For many, the next My Hero Academia, one of the next like big shonen series, and I can see why. It really has the potential to become one. It has very like similar foundations to like a series like Bleach, and so many think it will last and become one of the like big 3 shonens and that. Personally, I mean, I've only seen the anime and it's only 8 episodes deep. I mean, episode 9 came out yesterday, but I still haven't seen it. It is a very good show. I think it's already surpassed the last 2 seasonals for the year. I mean, already the best new seasonal, but I mean, nothing much came out this year. It has interesting concept, interesting characters. I mean, Goyo is just Kakashi clone, but I mean, it's obviously the memes. I do actually like him a lot. Overall, it has some nice fights, really nice visuals, I can't lie. Like, the anime's been really well. And I mean, I got bored of the manga and dropped it when I first tried it because I didn't really have a reason to read it. But the anime's actually made me stuck to it. And honestly, I'm just kind of hyped to see where it goes from here. It does have potential to become one of the next big shonens. I don't think it will go as big as Demon Slayer, but yeah, it will still become really big. So yeah, just my overall little thoughts on this series. Not enough to really talk deeply about it, but still a good series. So hey, now I'm going to be talking about some anime films I watched this year. And what better way to start off than with the Hajime no Ippo film and the special it had. I never really knew it existed, so the first time I watched it, I basically skipped them. And now I basically had a rewatch this year, just a quick rewatch of the first show and then the first season of the 2000 show. And overall, I managed to watch the specials in between, finding it in the right order. The film was very good. It pretty much had anything you would want to see in a film. It's weaker than the anime because like it doesn't really have enough time to shape some of the characters it introduces, but it still managed to do a good job for me, and I just enjoyed it. And then the special was very great. Like honestly, I just wish they added it into the anime because man, I can't believe I missed it. One of the best fights, at least for the OG show. Kimura's character developed a lot, and it was a great special. Next, we have the My Hero Academia second film, which I went to watch at the cinema. Any anime film that comes to the cinema, I basically go to watch. And it was really well animated. It had a decent story and plot. And to be honest, it just reminded me a lot of like future events in the manga, according to everyone. Thing is, like the ending was a bit why, man. Like they basically just did an ending which could affect the whole story, but apparently it doesn't, basically because of a plot hole. The whole movie was just really good because the fights were sick. Like basically, yeah, the fights were just sick. It had a lot of emotion behind it. That was just the main strength of the movie. I personally preferred the first one, but I genuinely just really enjoyed the second one too. Solid film, don't really regret watching it. Really fun watch. Following that, we have the No Game No Life movie, which honestly was a really good follow-up to the anime. The anime was like a good show and I honestly enjoyed it, but the movie was honestly better than the anime. I personally enjoyed the more realistic themes it had and just how the world came about. It was really sick just seeing a few characters from the show just like in their past form and how like discrimination was a thing back then. Honestly, it was a really fun watch compared to the anime. I'm glad they animated this movie because man, I really enjoyed it to be honest. Good animation, made my bathhouse, what do you expect? And overall, just a very good film. Next we have the Code Geass, The Loose of the Resurrection movie, which yeah was very mid. Honestly, if I paid to watch this at the cinema, I actually want a refund. Basically, the movie adds nothing to the story. The only good parts of the film were basically character interactions, like Lelouch with Callan and all that. And they were only good because of the bonds they built in the actual anime. The movie added nothing to the anime. The way the villains got, like, just destroyed and the way they came about was just bad. Like, there's basically, the ending makes no sense. I didn't really like the movie and I just don't really understand why Lelouch just decides to go with C2, leaving all his family and friends. I can get it, but also kind of not. It's meh ending, meh movie. Then we have another meh movie, A Wisker Away. I watched it because I got it recommended by someone on Instagram. Look, I probably would have enjoyed this more as a kid because this is just a very, like, kid-like film. That's the main reason why I didn't like it. Some of the characters are just so childish and, like, a bit annoying. Like, you know the typical anime kid that's just annoying? That's what this is about. And some of the themes are actually really good. The visuals are really good. And just the story is a fun story. But, I found it okay. Not something I would definitely watch again. Never. It's a meh film. It's more for kids and I expected a bit more. But hey, okay. And then for the specials, we had Burn the Witch, which apparently counted as a movie or a special. It's kind of a, like, spin-off of Taito Kubo's work. It is set in the Bleach universe, apparently. I honestly really enjoyed it. It felt very refreshing and just, it had the Bleach vibes. There are a few characters that are very resembling. Honestly, can't really wait to see the second season of this. I really honestly liked it. To see just Taito Kubo back again, man, and then just Bleach also coming back. All the love is coming for him. He deserves it. He's done a lot on the past. And yeah, Burn the Witch is just a fun show, which I hope he actually continues on in the future. Let's hope another film like this comes around. The animation was really clean. Overall, the movie was just really good and fun to watch. P.S. Noel was Pascal. The next special I watched was the Deadman Wonderland special, which was just one episode, focusing on Senji's past. And overall, it was honestly a very good special for the goated character himself. Deadman Wonderland is a show that kind of just like spiraled down in quality, and many people say the manga is much better. I will give it a read one day, just because the concept was really creative. Senji was like the best character in my opinion, and yeah, overall the special was really good. It kind of expanded on his character. It was just good. I enjoyed it a lot. I did also watch the Steins special, which was like a extra episode at the end of the season. It was just a really like filler-like episode that like just showed us the crew after the anime and what they did. And overall, it's just like a mini like journey and holiday in America where they meet all the cast again. Overall, a nice tribute to the anime, which I guess I enjoyed. It was honestly a good tribute just to end the overall like amazing series that was Steins Gate. I do honestly need to get on top of Steins Gate Zero because I mean I had mixed things, but like just to pay tribute to the original show. One day I'll read it or watch it. What am I saying? Watch it next year probably, but we'll see. Overall, a special was solid. The last anime film I'm going to be talking about, and the most recent one I've watched, is The End of Evangelion. Honestly, a crazy film that, although it didn't change my whole thoughts on the franchise as a whole, definitely changed my thoughts on the ending. I honestly really enjoyed this movie. It was better than the whole show if you ask me. The ending was definitely much better if you ask me at least. I definitely preferred this one than the ending from the OG anime. Overall, we had most of the iconic Evangelion scenes. It had a lot of symbolism scenes, including the opening like main symbolic thing at the start, like the whole trigram and that. Overall, we had much better animation because I mean obviously it was a film. And just like the overall last 30 minutes was just insane. Like the last 30 minutes are genuinely insane, and it has become like probably one of my favorite endings just for the insanity. Is, I mean, like even the IRL scenes were just like wild, man. Like honestly, yeah, great ending. I definitely like Evangelion as a whole a bit more now, and especially the ending. I highly recommend it, especially if you haven't seen it. And like, if you weren't really a fan of the anime ending and overall the whole anime, just like me, I recommend giving the ending a go because, in my opinion, it is much better than the whole show. It had a lot of just great scenes and everything. And I mean, the gay angel used to be my bloody favourite character just for like his style and everything. And now, I honestly think I like Shinji a lot, even Asuka a bit. But like, I don't know, the overall show is still a show I think is a bit overrated. But I can actually see why people love it. I'm just not really a fan of the themes it covers. But the movie was great. Like, yeah, the last 30 minutes were insane. And overall, like, the whole movie was a bit weird. I mean, it starts off in the first 3 minutes was like one of the weirdest scenes ever. And just a lot of weird scenes. Overall, the most iconic Evangelion scenes are here. And overall, the film was great. Give it a watch. Probably the best film of the year. Finally, we're here at the last step. The last medium on the video. Webtoons. The medium I thought that was overrated. All until I read this one webtoon. With my previous experience being beginning after the end and solo leveling, I genuinely thought the webtoon medium was a bit overrated. And look, I'm not trying to say anything bad about them because look, the art of solo leveling is one of the best, and same with beginning after the end. There's some amazing art and the concept is really insane. But the story is just very weak, the cast is very weak. And I mean, I do like the characters, but they just don't really have any grounding or depth behind them. Like, yeah, a certain level of depth is always there, but like, for example, Solo Leveling is a show that just relies on Sun Jin-woo and no other main real solid characters, at least as of now. And so yeah, my overall thoughts for the series obviously weren't very positive comparing it to manga. Like, some people genuinely said this was much better than manga and that, and I'm just couldn't see why. I mean, I know I only read 2, but even then I just didn't have a reason to read any other. Until one day, a lot of people started recommending me this, and I just saw it in a video and kind of got like a bit hooked by the concept, which is what normally happens, as the concept is normally the best thing about the webtoon if you ask me. But yeah, enough waffle. That webtoon was Hardcore Leveling Warrior. A series which had a slow start, but Hardcore Leveling Warrior at its best can reach some peaks which, even among manga, is really amazing. And honestly, it's the only webtoon I've read so far to do so, but then again, I've only read like 3 or 4. Anyway, I'm going to be talking about Hardcore Leveling Warrior, my favourite webtoon, which is one of my favourites even among manga. And why do I add it to my manga list? Because why not, honestly. They're both just kind of similar in some ways, and I just add it in my mangas. But anyway, like, I'm going to be using this background for 2 reasons. One, legit, there are not that many images in Google about the webtoon, which is kind of sad because it's free to read. Like, you can literally download the webtoon app and just read it for free, which is another reason why you should read it. And 2, all the images there are so bad quality. I don't know why, I think it's because of copyright or something, but like the only HD images are the ones I've put on the video already, the ones I literally edited myself to make them HD. Like, honestly, I don't know why, man. It deserves some more images, like, respect than this, man. Because although the art is not the best, it definitely grows in quality. Anyway, look, Hardcore Leveling Warrior is set in a video game, mainly, which you play when you sleep. It's like a VR game, but you literally get teleported into the world. You can feel pain and all sort of feelings, and it's basically a RPG type of game, but obviously it's very realistic and people go in there. So one of the main issues people could have with this, there are no stakes at hand and it is just a video game. And it quickly fixes this because the game becomes so big that money exchanges happen in the game, and there's even businesses and just people that live in the game rather than real life. So legit, there are stakes not just in money, but even in terms of like death. People could die in real life because of the game, because there are trade-ins and just overall societies like black markets and everything, just like in real life. That's how big the game is. But yeah, we begin by following the Hostage 1 ranked player in the whole game, Ethan, aka Hardcore Leveling Warrior. And we just follow him for around a chapter until he gets killed in the same chapter by a hacker. And he legit gets reset back to level 1. So we see him journey all the way across to get to max level again. But it's not just a simple stat, which in itself is already a cool concept. It gets even better. Basically, Hardcore Leveling Warrior, which, I mean, this is a bit of spoilers, but you do find out pretty early on, inadvertently is a slave. He does appear as a really rich guy, but no, he's a slave for a debt owner. And so when he gets reset back to level 1, he's not the Hostage 1 ranker anymore. He doesn't really get enough money to keep himself alive. And so his owner legit begins beating him and just making him pay as much as possible. He gets to a point where if he can't get the money, he's gonna die. And so he ends up pairing up with this rich kid who agrees to pay him if he gets him to level up faster. And so we get to see an expert gamer just go around the RPG world with a kid trying to level him up, just teaching us the way of the game. Overall, it is very interesting. Like, legit, it had a really good start because there are so many aspects and just elements that are so original. The whole world obviously is imaginative. Like, he can make anything we want, and the creator does this very well. This is one of the biggest strengths of Hardcore Leveling Warrior. The slow start is in terms of the story. The story is a bit weak for around 40 chapters until we get to a really major flashback which kind of turns the story around. From there, the story legit reaches quality which has never seen before in terms of the whole story, and like, it just stays so consistent from there until the end of season 1, which is one of my favorite moments ever, man. It's so sick, such a good scene, everything was amazing up to it. And even now, there's basically 2 seasons out right now. Season 2 is still around like halfway, I say. But it's been really good so far. Like, legit, just so much development for all the characters. Because it has a decent cast, you know. Apart from Ethan, which is like one of my favorite main characters ever. And so, it has a really good concept, main character, and solid cast. Another big strength after the flashback is the fights. The fights are just so original because of the system of the game. And even the story itself, man. Like, it reaches some like narrative points which are mad. Like, you do see a kid from like chapter like 80 back at like chapter 300 or yeah, wherever it's at. I mean, we saw him not too long ago, which is kind of mad. It's like One Piece callbacks right now. And so like Hardcore Leveling Warrior just shines in things like that, man. It also just shines at the choices it does. Like, it starts asking us questions like, how was the game made, and who is the real slave in the game? Like, overall, it reaches some really good plot turns, and honestly, it's a really good webtoon, man. Definitely changed my whole mind on the webtoon medium. I don't really want to talk too much because I just don't want to spoil like where it goes from there. But honestly, I really recommend reading Hardcore Leveling Warrior. It's a bit long, but trust me, like, it is free to read, and like, although it does have a slow start, it gets really good. Definitely the best webtoon I've read. I know there are probably other webtoons that are better, but obviously I haven't read them. But I will in the future. I've heard a lot about the webtoon medium, and this just got me excited for the future of it. Anyway, I got some friends that want me to read more and more, but hey, on hold, manga's too goated right now, so I'm going to be reading more manga than webtoons, but hey, go read Hardcore Leveling Warrior. Hey, finally we're here. Finally we're done with the bloody experience. Well, not quite. I'm going to be talking about one more show, which I'm currently watching. That's why I didn't really want to add in the anime, because one, I haven't really finished it. And after that, we are actually finally done. After that, I'm basically just going to focus on my plans for next year, but like, it's going to be brief plans, like just the main things I want to do next year, which might not even come about, but hey, who knows, we'll see. But anyway, let's talk about that one show, which honestly has grown on me definitely from the start, and I honestly know most of you will be hyped for this one. If you're listening to this, roll the bloody clip, yeet. So yeah, the last show I'm going to be talking about, I'm still currently watching, and I don't think I'm even halfway through. But hey, I'm 170 episodes in, and it's an anime that has really grown on me. Of course, let's talk about the one and only Gintama. So yeah, this anime by many, like, it's regarded as one of the greatest anime of all time. Everyone that finishes this anime always puts in their top 10. Like, it's no exaggeration, Gintama is amazing. Look, everyone says it has a slow start, and I do agree with it. I mean, at first I was genuinely asking myself, should I drop this show? But I'm honestly really happy that I didn't, because it's definitely gone up in quality since then. The thing with Gintama is that's a very heavy comedy anime, and so like, a lot of episodes are genuinely just centered about comedy and just funny. Like, honestly, that just makes some episodes feel like fillers, and that's like one of the main weak points of Gintama, especially early on, because some of the comedy was a bit like dead. But to be honest, it definitely grows in comedy, and not just that. Gintama has like a lot of serious arcs, and that's where the best parts of the series lie at. I mean, so far, the first like few serious arcs started a bit like meh, until Benny Sakura, which was like a very good arc. But then again, I still think it's a bit overrated. Like, people say it's like one of the best OG Gintama arcs, when honestly, I can't argue. There's only one arc for me so far that's like the best Gintama arc, without a doubt. And that is the Yoshiwara in Flames arc. I mean, legit, fam, that shit was so goated, I can't lie. Like, the whole arc, bro, it's like basically around 10 episodes, my man. After episode 2, holy fuck, man, it was just a train wreck of action, and just, like, I don't know how to understand how it's not the best arc of Gintama so far. Legit, that shit was so good. Best Gintama, high 9 arc. Like, basically, the fights were insane, story was just very clean and well, and the villain was sick, Gintoki was sick, like, the action scenes were amazing, like I've already said. Honestly, a very well rounded up arc, and it just honestly got me hyped, because people say it gets like 10 times better, and that's, honestly, I just can't see why. Like, just based on what people are talking, it generally, like, Gintama has the potential to become my favorite anime, which just is mad to me. And so yeah, I've been watching Gintama now for a while. I mean, to be honest, at the start, like I said, it was so weak, I just wasn't really grinding it properly, even skipped a few episodes. I mean, somewhere by accident, somewhere on purpose. All I'm saying is, I'm not skipping a single episode now, watching it all, being loyal to the anime because it deserves it. And I've been actually at least watching one a day, but like, a few weeks ago, legit was in a streak, like 3 a day, easy, every day. Which is how it should be, but like, when it's serious arcs, like, I legit watch all 10 episodes in a row, because the arc was just so good. Anyway, right now I'm in a serious arc, but like, with all the projects, like editing the videos, school, and bloody other animes, I can't really binge it. However, I will probably finish this soon after this video gets uploaded. Anyway, Gintama's an anime I'll definitely finish next year. Like, if by the end of next year I don't finish it, then something's gone wrong, fam. Something's gone wrong. Because, like, I don't know, I'm not really expected to finish it soon. I just want to finish it before the last movie comes out. That's my real goal. But yeah, many consider this peak shonen for sure, and even peak anime. This, like, series has a lot of comedy, a really good cast, just an overall really good series arcs. I can't really talk a lot because I've only experienced, like, I don't even know, I don't even think it's half, man. Like, I don't know, it's just not a lot of the show, and the best parts definitely I haven't experienced yet. But one of the best parts, like, at least in the OG anime for sure. So all I can say is, it's worth the grind. It may start off slow, but trust me, as you get in deeper and deeper, it gets much better. Like, if you thought the Hunter x Hunter jump was good, this is just the same thing. The jump is really good in quality. So keep the grind up, be patient, it will be rewarded, and trust me. But yeah, one more thing I want to add is the studio honestly is like really goated. When they want to, they animate everything really perfectly. All the openings are bangers, and there are a lot of ending bangers as well. But like, legit, Gintama is like very consistent in terms of quality. The studio's just, it's the same studio that did Code Geass, just for reference. Legit, mad studio, I can't lie. Anyway, finally, man, we're done with the experience from the year, man. After all of that, the bloody hour-long video, man, like my longest video ever, we're finally at the end, man. And honestly, to end the video, I kind of just want to talk about my goals for next year. But like, I don't really want to make like a huge amount of list goals, just because 1, I might not keep them, and 2, the video's already long enough, it doesn't need it. So I'm going to keep a summarized version. I'm going to talk about 1 for manga, 1 for anime, and honestly, I want to add 1 for a rewatch, because I really want to rewatch something. So anyway, my main goal for anime is to finish Gintama, if I'm honest. Now I've started it, and I have to finish what I started now, and especially after, like, I just want to get to the coded scenes, man. Everyone's, it's hyping me too much, man. There are people hyping me too much, and I just need to finish it for sure. In terms of manga, I really want to read Kingdom next year. I've heard a lot of great things, and honestly, I don't know, I just feel like next year is the year for Kingdom. I do have a lot of manga I want to read, but I don't know, I just feel like it's my main goal, because it is a long series, but like, also a series I want to finish. It's intriguing what I've seen so far, and I kind of just want to get into Kingdom. And lastly, for the rewatch, I really want to watch Hunter x Hunter again. There's just a lot I don't remember, apart from the Chimera Ant arc. Like, I don't remember enough of York New and everything. I really just want to rewatch Hunter x Hunter, then read the manga and actually end the series where it's at. So that's going to be my main goal for next year, rewatching all of Hunter x Hunter, and then obviously reading the manga following it. And just to add one more thing, the thing I'm most hyped for in the future is Attack on Titan Season 4, which is legit going to come out in 2 days when I'm recording this. Hype is real, man. Let's hope Mappa just doesn't fuck it up. And honestly, when you're watching this video, let's hope it came out well. And Bleach 2021, it's like what I'm really most hyped for in the future, like in terms of anime. Just really hyped for both of those shows. But yeah, man, that's the video. That was my 2020 Animanga experience. So hope you enjoyed the video, because it actually took a while. And I mean, hey, not the best of years in terms of how much I watch, but honestly, I really enjoyed what I did watch. Quality over quantity, although I could have done much better, but hey, I am happy with what I watched. Honestly, I watched some things I will never forget, and I read some things I will never forget. Definitely a big year for manga and anime, and honestly, just hyped for 2021, which is looking like to be a better year in terms of seasonals for sure. But yeah, look, I'm not really going to be active on YouTube still, so that's an F for me, sorry, but my channel will still continue to be dead. I will be a bit active, like definitely more active daily in my Instagram, which is dark_slayer_555. And obviously I'll leave all my social links down below in the description, all my Instagram, Twitch, and yeah, that's about it, to be honest. So yeah, if you really want to contact me, just comment on this video, go to my Instagram and message me. I'll check every message, I promise. But yeah, look, I'm going to be busy. I mean, exams are coming up in my school and I need to actually grind for them. But guess what, my goal is to be back on summer, man. On summer I'll be back like actually regularly, not just one video like this. I'll be back with a few. So yeah, until then, I mean, hey, be patient, but hey, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. At least I'm back with one video before the end of the year. But yeah, man, 2021 is coming up fast. Like, finally 2020 is over. Like, one of the worst years ever. Probably the worst year out of my life for sure. But yeah, anyway, the video's long enough, so yeah, stay safe everyone, man. Enjoy the rest of the year and hope everyone has a better 2021. But yeah, stay safe and peace.